If anyone had told Amara that one day she would doubt her own best friend, she would have sworn it could never happen. But life has a way of testing even the strongest bond. Hello, dear besties. Welcome back to my platform. Good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on whenever you come across my video. It all started when her husband Daniel suddenly became distant. Late night calls, whispered conversation, quick trip outside the house to take fresh air whenever his phone rang. Amara wasn't stupid. She could feel it in her bones something was wrong. And every time she turned around, her friend Linda was somewhere close. Too close, too available, too helpful. People in the neighborhood started talking. Are you sure Linda is truly your friend? Be careful, oh, some women knows how to pretend, no. Men don't just change for a reason. Check your friend. Amara heard it all, and she began to watch both of them carefully. There were days Linda would show up at the house unexpectedly. Days Daniel would leave the room immediately she arrived. Night he would receive message and quickly drop his phone pretending nothing happened. Amara's heart broke quietly. She couldn't confront them. She didn't want to lose her marriage to her friend or her friend. She kept observing and every sign pointed to betrayal. Then came the final blow. One evening, Amara borrows Daniel's power bank for a quick errand. Unknown to him, his phone was still connected to it. A notification popped up. It was a message from Linda. Short, suspicious, and enough to scatter a woman already drowning in fear. He's on his way. Make sure she doesn't suspect anything. Amara felt her knees weaken. Her chest tightened. Her head buzzed. So it was true. Her friend, her husband, the secret meeting, the midnight calls. She dropped the power bank and sat on the floor, shaking uncontrollably. Betrayal had finally reached her doorstep. That night, she said nothing. She slept beside a man she suddenly felt she no longer knew. And for the first time in her life, Linda's name tasted bitter in her mouth. The next morning, Daniel asked her to dress up. He said they needed to go somewhere. He didn't explain, he didn't smile, he just insisted. Amara followed quickly, her heart beating painfully against her rib. They drove for almost an hour. The road felt like a journey into darkness. When they finally stopped, she saw Linda's car parked in front of a small restaurant. Amara's hand began to tremble. Her mouth went dry. Tears gathered immediately. So this is where you two meet, she whispered. Daniel didn't answer. He just held her hand and let her inside. And that was when Amara froze. Inside the restaurant were roses, candles, decorations, and a table set for two. Her and Daniel. Linda was standing beside the table. Confused, embarrassed, overwhelmed, Amara stepped back. Linda walked to her slowly and held her hands. Amara, breathe. Please breathe. Tears spilled from Amara's eyes. Why were you messaging my husband? Why were you hiding things from me? She cried. Linda smiled sadly because we were losing him, not to another woman, but to life. Daniel was stressed. He was overwhelmed. Your marriage was drying in silence. He wanted to surprise you, to renew your vow, to bring the spark back, but he didn't know how to pull it off alone. Amara blinked, shocked. All the secret meeting, all the late night calls, all the whispered. Linda continued because we were planning this, a fresh start for both of you. Daniel stepped forward and hugged her. I didn't want to hurt you. I just wanted to remind you of us, he said softly. Amara broke down completely. All the pains, all the suspicions, all the fear, it all melted into relief. She turned to Linda ashamed. I thought you were betraying me. Linda wiped her tears and said, a real friend doesn't destroy a home. A real friend fights for it, even in silence. And at that moment, Amara realized something: the people we fear the most are the ones fighting the hardest for us. Guys, if you have watched up till now, please like, comment, and share. Thank you. See you next.